Free dope, free dope, free dope, free dope, free dope, free dope. You're now tapped in to Free Dope, the greatest podcast in the world, each week. Bringing you topical conversations that are sometimes intelligent but absolutely undeniably hilarious. Yeah, we'll see about that. Podcasting from a city near you, Free Dope starts now.
I'm not gonna lie, I was supposed to be asleep by now. But I decided to hop on. What's up? Hey, thank you for checking out this episode. These are like super hard for me to do. This kind of episode is like when I don't have a guest on. I think it's because I am still suffering from self-doubt. Okay, it's not. I think I am still suffering from self-doubt. So that's why these are a little more difficult for me to do. Like I said, episode 1, vulnerability, so difficult. It's a very scary thing. But yeah, it's just that self-doubt still creeping in. And that almost prevented me from doing this one today. Right now, since I didn't have that guest, I was like, oh, I can just like take a week off. It's cool. Nobody's going to notice, you know. But I guess I noticed. I made a promise to myself as well that I was like going to make it past 3 episodes and like post in a row consecutively, like once a week for I don't know how many weeks. But yeah, I was gonna like not post and I was gonna break that promise to myself, and I was like, I can't do that. I gotta, hop on and at least put something out. It doesn't have to be great. That's one thing too I want to talk about too, is perfectionism. I should write it down because I'm gonna forget it. Let me write it down real quick. Perfectionism. Okay, cool. No, so like that's one thing though. I had to, just I made the promise to myself that I was going to put out an episode a week consistently. So yeah, I'm doing it. And I think I read something that like most people stop at episode 4 anyway, because like when you're starting something new, you have that new energy behind you, that the wind in your sails, right? And like it's pushing you towards whatever destiny you think you're going to achieve. But after that new energy wears off, you're kind of like stuck, kind of just, still doing it on your own, right? And if you're not, I guess, seeing the results you expected to see right away, then you kind of fall off, because it's like, this is kind of like different doing this thing, just putting it out there. Like it's really good. Like if you're somebody who has a built-in following already, then, when you see numbers of the people listening, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel nice, But when you don't, then, it's kind of like disheartening. I'm not saying that for myself. I'm just saying like I can see that's why people end up quitting after, a few episodes. Because that's what the article I read said. Like I think it was the 4th episode. People usually don't make it to. But we're also in the top 50% of podcasts worldwide. So yeah, congrats. Thank you for that. You have to get like more than 10 downloads an episode in a week in order to be like in the top 50%. So at least for there. Yay. But no, I almost like didn't do this episode though, because of the fact that we didn't have the guest that I had booked. So I was like, oh, I can just like phone it in. And then also back to that perfectionism thing, that was also a reason why I was not going to do the episode as well, because I had to start and stop this one so many times. I might actually start it again. I don't know. Like I start going and then all of a sudden, like in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is not good. So I delete the whole thing and like I started again, and I don't know what that stems from. Perhaps it's that self-doubt as well that's creeping in and manifesting itself as perfectionism, because perfectionism is a coping mechanism in a way to shield yourself from, failure and criticism, right? So I think I am not capable of achieving whatever it is that I'm out to do. I don't know what it is. I'm just having fun. I'm not going to lie. But it's also kind of like a reflection in, it's like an exercise in understanding myself, I guess, as well, which is still why I'm doing it. Made a promise to myself, like I said, that I was going to put out an episode a week, because I've started and stopped like these many times in the past. So I just want to just keep on doing it this time. So yeah, it's like an exercise in learning myself. But yeah, that whole perfectionism thing is like just a way of, I guess, masking self-doubt and not calling it self-doubt, because you obviously don't. When I say you, I mean like me, I'm just like having thoughts of myself right now. So welcome. This is what goes on in my head. So like, it's one of those things in which, like, you think you're not good enough to achieve, like I said, what you're out for. So you have to learn every single thing possible, in order to, I guess, get that success that you think you're going to achieve. If that makes sense. I think I said that correctly. It's like it's that fear, right? Also the fear that's paralyzing you, the fear of like failure, the fear of even success. Sometimes it's success. Like when I was reading The Alchemist, okay, so like one of the main takeaways from The Alchemist is like, when you're on that path of your life's journey, the whole universe will transpire to make it happen for you. I don't know if I quoted it correctly, but it's something to that, effect right there. So on the flip side of that, like when you're going down something, like they tell you, choose a path of least resistance, right? Like when you go down something that's not like necessarily meant for you, you're always going to have all these, speed bumps, these roadblocks, right? In a way, preventing you from, or at least prolonging your journey, right? So I think like we can use those roadblocks, those obstacles as an excuse as to why we're not truly successful in our minds or where we want to be at, because we can blame that stuff right there in front of us. Meanwhile, like when you're going down a path that has no roadblocks whatsoever, and you're just like flying down and, you're getting towards that goal, the place that you want to be, you kind of, I guess, throw your own roadblocks up, right? Perfectionism or like self-doubt. You kind of like throw those up to prevent you from getting there, because what you see is right there. It's very actually achievable, and you have like no steps in front of you preventing that from happening. So you kind of like self-sabotage in a way. I'm just thinking out loud. Like I said, it's just like a lot of things going on in my head right now. So yeah. Oh yeah, I'm going to go to therapy. Sorry. Hard transition. But I'm going to, I like, that's like something I wanted to do for like a long time, is just to go into therapy. And like, I was going to say like nothing has to be wrong and nothing is wrong. But that kind of like stigmatizes, mental health, right? And I think we have this idea that something has to be wrong with you, something that you obviously can't handle yourself, right? Something that's like super, 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 super massive on you, and that you absolutely can't handle. So you need the help of somebody else, right? Like ultimately, I think people associate going to therapy with like absolute rock bottom. And it's not. It doesn't have to be that way at all. Like it's also a way for you just to raise self-awareness and even to address blind spots that you didn't know you had. That's why they're called blind spots, Duran, because you don't know you have them. But it's like a way for you to address those blind spots. Like when something does come up, right? You know how to handle it, or at least, you have more awareness as to how to navigate that situation, because we all have these things that will trigger us in ways that we never knew we had, right? Like certain things will come. We all have like, we just do a good job at repressing, certain elements, certain aspects, right? So I think this is going to be a good thing. My first appointment's like at 10:30 in the morning, which is going to make for a really rough day probably if we get into some really deep stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't want to prejudge it, but like, yeah, there might be some things that come up. I don't know. Nothing like, I don't think too bad. But yeah, it's gonna be like an interesting day though. It should be the consultation one. I think they go easy on you in the consultation, so they can like get you to be a client before like they go all Iyanla Vanzant on you, But yeah, so like, I'm going to do the therapy thing. I'm looking forward to it. It's just going to be, and I'm going to like, hopefully be able to talk about some things, just become more self-aware and just, learn that I think, they kind of, things click. Sorry. I just had like one of those moments where it's like, like when like you're talking, like things all of a sudden like make sense. You take that moment to like process. You're like, oh yeah, it makes sense now. because my dad did like his doctoral work dealing with emotional intelligence. So yeah, I think that's probably what this might be, that like journey for myself. Yeah, that's interesting. I just was processing that. Because yeah, no, like through his work, like he was sharing things with me, which was pretty dope. You know, opened my eyes to a lot of things. I'm still working on it. I'm definitely a work in progress. I'm not gonna lie. Like anybody who knows me knows I'm like a complete work in progress, but we all are, right? But yeah, it opened my eyes though to like, you know, a lot of empathy in that emotional intelligence. And I guess that's what I was trying to do with like, you know, the last episode, right? When we talked to Zach Phelps Roper, formerly of Westboro Baptist Church. Like we can look at, you know, what they do and everything, and we know 100% that it's like atrocious, right? But then that's always, I just want to know why, you know, like I just want to know from their perspective, like, why are you doing this? Or like, what are your beliefs that leads you to these actions right here? And at least you know how to argue with people better once you really, really know the root causes of their actions, instead of like arguing with the concept that you've constructed. When you really understand the root causes of like why people behave the way they do, you can really argue with them and tear them down their point. See, look, that's why I need to go to therapy. That's my toxic behavior right there. But oh God. But yeah, so that was purpose like this, the past 2 episodes. And I did like the 2 things you should not do ever. I realized that. I talked about the 2 things you should never discuss. You should never discuss politics and religion. And like in episodes 2 and 3, I got right into that. So this one, I was supposed to combine the both politics and religion into one episode. But like I said, my guest had to reschedule, and I hope I can get him on next week. But yeah, that was him rescheduling was like one of the obstacles I faced in getting this done. Another one was the fact that what I normally record in decided not to work at all. And I was recording, I think the first of like 200 takes. And then I stopped it and then started it again. And like, as I started it again, it never wanted to start it. So I had to start it again. And then all of a sudden it said I was recording already. I was like, I'm not recording already. I had to reset it. You know, I had to like start and stop. And then all of a sudden I tried it again and kept saying I was recording. I'm like, I'm not recording anything. So then I reset the computer, I closed the browser, all that stuff, right? Do it again. It still says I'm recording. I'm like, I'm not recording anything. So I contact tech support, and you know, tech support is never of any help at all. Basically, the conversation started with him asking me if I had restarted my browser yet. I'm like, yeah, like don't ask me to do the things that I could figure out how to do on my own. Like obviously I've hit a wall, so that's why I'm coming to you for technical support. He told me to do the things that I already know how to do. So I'm like, I know how to reset the browser. I know how to restart my computer. Like I just need some assistance. Long story short, they never figured out what to do. So now I'm probably going to get a refund, hopefully. But yeah, no, but that was another obstacle though. And I almost didn't do this episode because of that. And I was like, I'm just going to pack it in and go to bed. Nobody's going to notice if I don't put one out, you know, but like I said, I'm going to notice because I made that promise to myself that I was going to put something out. So like I'm putting out an episode. And yeah, so thank you for listening. I was going to wrap it right there, but there was 2 more things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to mention, and that was 2 things that my wife tells me that kind of like I kind of like realized, I guess, over the past couple of days from telling her. She's like, guess what I've been telling you? I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Talking about action creating clarity. That's one thing she always says, is that action creates clarity. So the whole concept is that you just got to do it, like Nike. You just got to do it. Right. And then in doing it, things become clear, because all of a sudden, like when you have something that you're thinking about doing, it's this never ending concept. You know, it can take many, many, many different forms. You can always tweak something in your mind hundreds of millions of times. Right. But then when you're actually doing it, you have something that's tangible and something that, you know, you can see where the adjustments need to be made at, rather than, you know, it being something that completely exists like in the ether, right? It's something that you have in front of you. You can like make these little tweaks here and there and understand what, you know, you should be doing. So that's what she was saying, that action creates clarity. And I say that because like when when I came up with the name of the show, like years ago, I just thought the name sounded cool. Honestly, I still thought the name sounded cool when I was starting this. I was like, I don't know what to do. I just have this Facebook page I made that has like 1,000 likes on it for no reason. People are just finding it and liking it because the name sounds cool. Told you, the name sounds cool. So they were liking it. So I had the page with 1,000 likes. So that's why I started to use the name again. But then as I was thinking on the way home, I think it was like yesterday or the day before, it hit me. I was like, oh man, the name can mean the fact that we're going to have conversations or like do things in the show that are like mentally stimulating or, you know, like change people's minds, alter people's minds. Not like make you change your minds per se, but like, you know, give you like an alternate perspective. There you go. You know, so change your mind in that idea, right? So, you know, your ideas, your beliefs, hold on to them. They're yours, but also it's important knowing the other side. So that's, you know, maybe just like that name can mean that, you know, like there's a few things I started thinking of. She's like, yeah, it's starting to click in now. So I'm like, at least I have like now like more of a direction I want to go in, because when I was thinking of the show, it was going to be so many different things. There was like so many things I was going to do. So yeah, that makes sense. So action does create clarity. And then she always tells me, fill every day with inspired action. And I'm like, all right, that sounds dope as well. So, in that concept, you know, do that thing that lights you up like every single day. I think I'm saying it right. I'm going to use what I say. So she says, you know, fill every day with inspired action. I say no 0 days, because this was like a Reddit post I found so many years ago at this point now. And it really just like, it was something like I printed it out and like had it on my wall in my room for a long time. That along with the lyrics to Lose Yourself. They were like side by side. The lyrics to Lose Yourself and my No 0 Days Reddit post, because I think the post started with somebody asking a question saying that, like, you know, they have this goal they're trying to go to and they're like very stuck and they just don't know how, and they're like just paralyzed with fear, paralyzed with a lot of things I go through myself, you know, like the perfectionism, like self-doubt, what I talked about a second ago. Hold on for a second. There you go. So like they were suffering from the same exact thing. So they asked the question, like, how can I achieve this goal that I'm going towards and manage to get over, you know, what I'm going through. And somebody came up with this beautiful post. It was really long, but the gist of it was, you know, what they called No 0 Days. So every single day, you know, at the end of every single day, you want to take an inventory of everything you did during the day. And if you took the smallest step towards that goal you're trying to get to, then you can mark it with the 1. If you get to the end of the day and you're sitting at a 0, then do something, the smallest step still to get to that goal. So that way you can end the day with the 1. And the whole idea is to string up nothing but 1s consecutively. Every single day, get a 1. And then ultimately you make it towards that goal that you're trying to get to. So I just like love that post so much. So I printed it out and put it on my wall. But yeah, so like make sure you have just the smallest step towards that goal that you're trying to get to. And like I said, it can be the smallest step. I think when we think of new undertakings, we honestly want to get to the end right away, right? Like we think, all right, we put in like a little bit of work and then all this success is gonna, you know, come back. And we judge a lot of things we do on their return on investment as well, you know? And I think that's like we judge the outcome. We see the outcome from the starting line when we have not really taken the steps to get to that desired outcome or enough steps. So like the whole idea again is to take the smallest step though to get to the desired outcome. That way you can mark a 1 on every single day and to string up nothing but 1s and you have no 0 days. Sorry. I just thought of No Regrets. Scotty P from We Are the Millers, that tattoo, yeah, the No Regrets. So yeah, you have no regrets and no 0 days. But yeah, so yeah, inspired action creates clarity. I think those are like the 2 main takeaways from now. Oh yeah, and I'm going to therapy and no self-doubt. don't have self-doubt, don't have, and just go towards your goals and stuff like that. I forgot what I was going to say right there. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I think this is a perfect time to say like, thank you for listening. And yeah, we got 4 episodes done. Hopefully, if there's like something that you want to hear, do this right here.
Leave a message at 213-935-0606.
And that's like one thing I really miss is like having like that conversation with like people. I like talking by myself. It's fun. But I just like the conversation as well. So like maybe I can like have some voicemails to go through. So yeah. So all right. I think that's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. That's what I was going to say. There we go. Thank you so much for like listening. If you made it this far, thank you again. And please like tell a friend to listen and like follow, like, and subscribe. Rate. There it is. Follow, rate, and subscribe. There you go. So like whatever you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, hit that like follow button, and if you're iTunes, just like save it to your library, that way, like whenever a new episode comes out, it gets right there to your phone. It's like you don't miss anything because inevitably something profound is going to happen and be said at some point on one of these episodes, and you do not want to miss it. So make sure you subscribe and follow on whatever streaming platform you're listening on. And also please like do a like or a rating, like if you can do a 5-star rating in Apple Podcasts, there we go. You can do a 5-star rating in Apple Podcasts, and like you can hit the like button on Spotify or whatever else, like thumbs up, so like please do that because that helps out a lot as well. And leave a comment. Yeah, so like if there's something that like ever at some point that you liked from like any of these like first couple of episodes, please like just write a comment, that like really goes a long way. Like honestly, it really does. And thank you so much for like making it to the end. Hopefully we have like something like really cool lined up for next week. If not, I'll just be talking again. So thanks again. All right, take care. Bye.
Free Dope. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get podcasts.